Hi everybody. It's me again. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Honestly, it's all the same. I brought in the New Year eating a bowl of ramen noodles. So, what I wanted to talk about is like a pain tolerance like thing for tattoos. Um, so yeah, I guess let's just like get into it. And yes, I understand my attire is a little odd, but I was taking pictures, so that is why my attire is the way that it is. Anyway, um, I just want to start with like one of the elephants in the room type thing is like my blackout arm. So I don't fully have it redone. Again, however, so I've had obviously other tattoos on this arm. I had like my first round of tattoos, and then I had my first round of blackout. Sorry. Got my first round of blackout. The first round of blackout took what felt like forever. It took me like 3 or 4 sessions on my arm, and it took forever. The healing process just never seemed to like turn out the way that it should have, or at least like it did when I got it done, like the last time by the guy in Philly. So yeah, so like the pain tolerance on it getting it done was more annoying. So like an annoyance type pain was probably like a 6, I want to say. But like this last time I got it done, I would call it like maybe a 3. The healing part is probably the worst. And you just like you have to sleep certain ways, or you should anyway. You should sleep a certain way. I had to like, put ointment and stuff on it like 3 or 4-ish, maybe 5 times a day. It was a lot. And I had to sleep with like my arm out covered, and I had to tape a magazine around it so I would keep my arm straight at night. So I slept on my floor for like 4 days. Totally fine though. When it comes to armpits, I have both of my armpits tattooed. If they're hairy, I don't really care. That's part of why I got them tattooed, actually. So, armpit tattoos burn a little bit. So when I got this one done, it honestly wasn't nearly as bad as this one was, and I just don't know why. I can't put my finger on that. So, here I go, adjusting this fucking camera again. God, I either have no forehead or too much forehead. I don't know what's going on. But, so when I got my left one done, I would say it was probably like a 5 out of 10, for sure. Because when he was doing it, this wasn't like anything like about him. Like, I'm still friends with him. He's wonderful. But he outlined the shapes, fine, whatever. But he would like fill one in halfway and then go to another one and then go back to that one. There was a lot of jumping around that was really like, I don't know. That's just like, to me, it just like made it burn more. But maybe I'm like a big fat gaping vagina. I don't know. So when I got my right one done, it was about like, I want to say maybe like a 7 out of 10, because it just burns so much. And that's how I've had a lot of my tattoos. If one side hurt, the other one didn't, or they're like mutual pain. But like my armpits weren't. They were both very odd. When it came to my shoulders, so I have peonies on both of my shoulders. When it came to my shoulders, they really weren't that bad. For some reason, up on top of my shoulders makes me like a little bit nauseous. But once it got down onto the collarbones, it was absolutely terrible. So I would give my shoulders probably, between the collarbone pain and everything, I'm not gonna lie, it was probably like a 7 or an 8. It was super just like not fun. It was super like, okay, I can't wait till this is over type thing. So then when it came to like, my little chest piece I have right here, it really wasn't that bad. It started off like, ew. But then like 2 minutes into it, you got pretty used to like the pain of the needle. So honestly this, and it's not very big either. So this was probably, I want to say like a 3. We're going to give this a 3. Yeah, that works. 3's fine. My throat wasn't painful. I was in a car accident when I was younger, so I still have back pains and everything from that. So laying down on the table for the amount of time it took to do like the front of my throat, the sides of my throat and everything, that was worse than the actual tattoo itself, because the front part of it alone took like 6 hours. It's all stippling, as I got into in my tattoo tour video. So the front is all stippling, the sides are all stippling. So honestly, I would give my throat probably like a 4.5. We'll go 4.5 out of 10. Definitely worth it though, for sure. So when it comes to like my under chin, again, wasn't that bad. There was a side, there was like a pinch on each side of my jaw, like right in this area. And that was like uncomfortable, but as soon as you got past it, you got past it. That was another tattoo that like it was just kind of awkward to get because you had to lay back, but like upside down a little bit almost. So I had to like come up to, you know, recirculate the blood properly and then lay back down. But all in all, it really didn't take that long. It took longer to stencil than it did to do the actual tattoo. Face tattoos. When it comes to face tattoos, a lot of people tell me, like 90% of people don't believe me when I say that mine didn't hurt. I have a mole on my face that I already had that I got darkened a little bit. I have this line on my chin that goes onto my lip. Even like all of these, they weren't bad. You know, all of this right here wasn't bad. I have a white one right. My lipstick's a mess. Don't look at it. Oh, like right here that I'm gonna get gone over again, and even like the one above my eyebrow, I'm gonna get that touched up as well. But all of my face tattoos, I give a 1 or 2. Honestly, the worst part about them is like they would give me a headache. Really, like that was it. Like right here, you know, on my temple, this butterfly gave me a headache. This one gave me a little bit of a headache. Like that's really like all like the pain I had with it was more of like I wanted this, so I had to just deal with like the aftermath pains basically, because nothing on my face was bad. However, the half blackout I have on my ear, which I want to get a half blackout on this ear as well, which I will get to doing that eventually. The half blackout on my ear, it was more of like a sound trigger type thing, only because I get really odd about things like on or around my ears, which is why I have to recut it right now, but which is why I shaved the sides of my head on both sides above my ears. I just didn't like the way it would make my ears feel when that hair was like right there, and it would get like tangled and everything on it. It just made me feel weird and like kind of freaked me out a little bit. Anything else I don't really give a fuck though. However, no, so when I was getting that done, the healing process on that was worse than the actual pain of the tattoo. Only because obviously it gets super swollen. It bled for like 2 days. Now, granted, my artist who did that, he told me, he was like, maybe don't put your plugs back in. And I was like, fuck that. I'm going to put my tunnels in, which I did. I didn't put these ones in, but the silicone ones I've talked about in my ear jewelry video, those are the ones that I put in. And yeah, so I actually did end up putting my tunnel back in this ear and just having the time of my life. But yes, the sound of it was just so close to like my ear canal and everything. It just kind of like freaked me out a little bit, and I was like, yo, like, is it cool if we get to a stopping point like soon, because it's just like I don't like the way it's making me like feel. He went, yeah, so like that's whatever, and I'll eventually get the other half blackout on this side. And so sorry, I got a text message and I lost my place completely. So I have the under boob tattoo. I had that before I even got a boob job. It just so happened to still lay out pretty nicely. That one was miserable. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. So many girls are like, I didn't even hurt. Well, mine did. My outline was miserable, and my shading was even miserabler. Yep, you're welcome for that. So it was stupid. I hated it. It was awful. It was 2 sessions, and it was the worst 2 sessions of my whole life. Other than my stomach tattoo, which I will now move to that. I have a face with butterfly wings behind it. And I had Taco Bell before my first session on my stomach, before I got my outline. And it was so stupid because I was so nauseous. I thought I was going to throw up everywhere, which luckily I did not blow chunks. I kept it in my belly and just decided to feel like shit. But the even the initial outline on that was like a definite like 9.5 out of 10. Once I started going to, I had 2 more appointments. We shaded one side, then we shaded the other side, and even the shading appointments were still like 8.5 out of 10. But still, like my under under titty tattoo. That was for sure still like a 9.5 out of 10. 100%. So when it comes to like my hands really weren't that bad. Again, that just like was where like the healing like part comes in, where like it heals, it's sore or whatever, and it makes things like a little bit difficult. What was it? It makes things a little bit difficult. And so I've actually had my fingers gone over multiple times. I'm sorry. I just like, I get so easily sidetracked, and it's just really bad sometimes. So, my fingers say open mind, which that's always been like the initial tattoo I've had there. I've had it gone over like 2 or 3 times just to add a little bit more like oomph to it. But the fingers weren't that bad. Now, once you get here between like the knuckles down in this like skin, that's where it starts to get like shitty. Like you're like, oh, okay, I'm rethinking like my life choices at this point. Shitty. So that's definitely like a 7.5 out of 10. Like it's just super uncomfortable. Even when you're done, it still like burns a little bit for like the rest of the day, or at least in like my situations it has. So I'm not really gonna get into too much like on this arm. A lot of it was just like not simple tattoos, but like tattoos like, you know, your basic amount of pain, like anywhere from like a 2 to like a 4. Like they really weren't like that bad. Except for like right here, I don't know why this 13 hurt a lot. It just really did, because when the black over here didn't. So I'm still very confused as to how like this felt like nothing and this felt like my world was just ending. Whatever, none of my business, I guess. So down here, like on my palms, when I was younger, my palms hurt a lot less than they did when I had started getting them touched up over the years. So like now when I go, it hurts more. It hurts so much more than it did initially. After the first like 2 or 3 times, like going back and forth between my hands, is when it really started to feel like really shitty. So definitely, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, definitely 10 out of 10 on like your palms. Like, it's tolerable in like the most uncomfortable way, and your hand feels like really sore for like 3 days afterward. So yeah, like when I was getting like this palm like started to like fill it in, I had on a gray shirt and I had like armpit sweat like clear down to like my rib cage. It's fucking awesome. It was really cool. Should have been there. So yeah, what else? Oh, my legs weren't that bad. There was like I have a portrait of Adam Sandler on the back of my thigh. That was a definite like 8.5 out of 10, and I had to go to work afterward too. So like I'm laying there, I have half of Adam Sandler's face tattooed on my leg, and I'm like, do I really need the other half today? Like it's gonna look kind of ridiculous if I go into work with half of Donnie Burger's face on my thigh. But you know what? I finished it, and it was so painful. I don't know. My knee ditch wasn't painful though. My knee ditch was fine. Like I still need to shade it, but like the outline in my knee ditch was like perfectly fine. I didn't have issues with that. My friend Lex, she was like, yeah, mine sucked. I got it done for 6 hours. I was like, mine was like 3.5. Like just like the outline of it, and like it was like pretty chill. It wasn't that bad. So that's like where that like pain tolerance thing comes in. Like it just depends on your pain tolerance, depends on, you know, who you are, where it's at. So like pain tolerance for back of thigh, 7.5, 8. Pain tolerance for knee ditch as of like the outline that I have, which I'll update you whenever I get that finished because I'm just really busy. I would say probably like a 4.5, just depends. I really thought I was gonna fall asleep though. Could have been because I was just completely exhausted, but definitely thought I was gonna fall asleep. So the one that I've talked about on like with Inked Magazine on TikTok and like stuff like that is my butthole tattoo. Now, so many people, when they find out about this thing, they just need to know, did it hurt? It didn't. Again, it's stippling, and it's just... So, a question I get a lot is, how did I get it done? I laid on my back with my legs, like, back, like, my knees to my chest, for, like, 40-45 minutes. In the last, like, 10-15 minutes, I, like, turned over and, like, face down, ass up, like this, and just kind of, like, held my ass open to get it tattooed. The pain of that really wasn't that bad though. When he would like try to be funny and like move from like one side to the other one like real quick, and make me flinch a little bit. It was more of like a surprise pain than like anything, because like he's consistently in one spot and then would just like ship it to the other side, which whatever, that's cool. There I go again, just losing my train of thought. But no, the healing, a lot of people ask how I healed it, how well it healed, like was it painful when you healed, how did you not get it infected? Definitely keep the toilet like wipes, so you could like wipe your ass instead of the toilet paper. Get like the wipey wipes, kind of like baby wipes. If you want to use baby wipes, just use those. But just like keep those, be gentle, and that's really it. Like after like a few days, like it really like you wouldn't even know that you got it done. Like as soon as I left, I was like, okay, cool. I really don't feel like that much different. Like there wasn't that much pain. Occasionally I would like forget and take normal toilet paper and just that hurt. That was painful. It was a little bit like sandpaper on your butthole, but like it's fine. Who needs it, right? But yeah, it was only like, I want to say like a 3 out of 10 getting it done, and healing was probably one of the easiest healing tattoos I've ever had. So then my back tattoo, so this is when I started using numbing cream. So the guy who's doing my back tattoo, he was like, hey, have you ever used numbing cream? Do you want to? I was like, fuck it. I've been getting tattooed since I was 19. No, I've never used it other than, what is it, like, Bactine? Is that what it is? That's in like the spray bottle. A couple of times when I've got my palms done, I've had people spray Bactine on them, but like it doesn't really do much on my palms. I don't know about other parts of the body, but other than that, I had no experience with it. So for my back, I can't really say much about the pain. I've used numbing cream I think I've had 3 sessions on my back. So I've used numbing cream all 3 sessions. With numbing cream, I would say it's like a 2. Just like, again, I just get uncomfortable sitting there for long periods of time, so I just can't do super long appointments like anymore. Really, it's very, very difficult. But yeah, I would say without numbing cream, it would still probably only be around a 5 on most places on my back. There's a couple places he's like ventured off to that like I didn't have numbing cream on, and it really wasn't that bad. But yeah, I also have my butt cheeks like tattooed. The further in you go into like your butt crack area is where it starts to get a little like tender for sure. So I have the one side that's a mandala, and it like has like a normal outline and then a lot of stippling. It took a while, but the pain, I'm telling you, the pain of healing it a lot of times is a lot more than the pain of getting it done. So the pain of getting it done was probably like a 6. The pain of healing it, you just have to be kind of careful when you like put jeans and stuff on, and when you do stuff like that. Other than that, the pain of healing is probably like a 7, but pain of getting it is like a 6. So I have a peony on the other butt cheek. I don't remember which one's on which cheek though, unless I look, just because I just can't remember. I don't know why. And so even the peony was about the same way, but that one I got the outline done, and then I went back and got the shading done a couple months later. So that one was actually 2 separate sessions, which I mean that's fine. What else? Oh, I have like portraits on my more portraits on my leg. I have Ray Liotta, I have a Ray Liotta portrait on my right foot. So that actually wasn't that bad. Like when I got, and it could be because I think the artist who did it is like pretty like light-handed. And it definitely like wasn't even that bad. Like a couple parts of it, I'm looking at it now and go like almost onto like the webbing of the toes. And there was maybe like 1 or 2 pinches in the whole process of him doing it for like 4 hours maybe or something like that, 3.5. And yeah, it wasn't that bad. Healing process was super easy. Didn't use any numbing cream or anything on it, which I thought I was gonna have to. So I was really upset when I didn't bring any and he didn't have any. He was like, fuck it, you gotta do without it. And it did. And it went completely fine. But yeah, pain in that was like 3.5, maybe 4. Maybe I was just having a good day. I don't know. I don't have anything on my left foot, just because my left leg onto my foot is like pretty like bare. I only have like a few things. Now I will tell you, if you have stretch marks, that is where it kind of like throws a wrench in things a little bit. So I have stretch marks on like the back of my armpits, insides of my thighs, up on my hips, underneath my butt cheeks, just like from like gaining weight, losing weight, growing up, you know, just stuff like that. And they don't bother me, but when I get them tattooed, they do swell because the skin is a lot more sensitive, so they do swell. So that was like not really an issue, but something I had to take. You have to take into consideration when you're getting stuff on your stretch marks. I have the ones on my hips, you know, it wasn't really a problem. I have some of the ones that go over the ones on my butt cheeks, you know, that's not really a problem. The only time it really got a little is when I was getting this blackout done, and on the back of my armpit fucking hated me because of them. Well, I hated them. Sorry. I keep getting text messages and nobody ever talks to me unless I'm doing something. So, it was just really irritated. Like, my stretch marks were very, very angry for a couple of days, but it's fine. I mean, fuck them, right? I have plenty. So, there was another thing. I want to say the front of your leg hurts. Like right here, this part. I want to say the front of that does hurt. It's, like, pretty uncomfortable. Especially right on the back of the calf, too. Like, I think that one was pretty uncomfortable as well. Maybe I just don't like not being able to see what's going on. I don't know. But I feel like all those were pretty uncomfortable. I thought the legs were going to be like super duper easy to get done, but some parts of them are like pretty difficult. Other than my knees, actually. Getting my knees done wasn't very difficult at all. I got Tabori tattooing on my left knee, which if I could afford it, I would get all of my tattoos Tabori tattooed because it was so easy and calming, like nothing. But again, I have issues sitting there, so I have to move. And then I had a machine on my right kneecap a few times actually, and it was nothing. It was super duper easy, never had an issue. I also don't really have any color. Like, the only color I have is red, and it's like sporadic through my tattoos. I don't have any like super big solid like color tattoos to where like my swelling would be like astronomical. So that's not something I can speak on, but definitely like the most painful tattoos I've gotten: palm, stomach, under titty. Armpits are just like uncomfortable. Don't get your armpits done in the middle of summer, because I did that with my left one, and you can't put deodorant on it, and you sweat and you smell bad. Me, I sweat a lot anyway, but this bitch, I look like I sweat a lot. What am I talking about? But yeah, like, if you guys have any other questions or like any other video ideas that you want to hear like about my tattoos, definitely drop them down below in the comments. If you want to subscribe, go for it. If you don't want to subscribe, don't. I mean, at this point it's just like a hobby because I'm really lonely. So yeah, this is about it. So I hope everybody's new year went well, everybody was safe, and I'll see you again. Bye.